Hello, my little inventors of toaster strudel. Since you had so much fun last week doing the hexagonal florets with your handmade compass, I'm going to show you how to do another compass design.
It's math o'clock, the best time of day.
But since I'm not an awful human being, I'm going to show you how to make an easier compass. You're going to be learning how to make a square with a compass. It's trickier, and that's why I'm going to show you how to use an easier compass. So join me on this magical journey into geometry. Because math is cool.
You're going to be using your compass. Take 2 points on a line and swing arcs. And when you swing those 2 arcs, where they cross over, you're going to draw a line through it at each of those intersections. And when you go through those 2 intersections and you cross that original line, you're going to create a 90-degree bisection point. To make your compass, you're going to need the following. You're going to need a bit of cardboard for your backing. Should be about the size of your paper. You're going to need that tack again. You can use a nail, a screw, a safety pin, anything you want. This one actually is going to be easier to use. Any pointed object. You're going to need a smaller strip of cardboard. That's going to become the compass arm itself. You're going to need a pencil. Sharpen it in advance. The Sharpie is going to be helping us darken our lines so that we can see better what we're doing. And then the straight edge. Before, to do a floret, you didn't need a straight edge. To make your squares, you definitely need it, though. Doesn't have to be a ruler. It doesn't have to have numbers on it. Just has to be a straight line. This compass is made by taking your thumbtack and driving it through your cardboard. Give that a wiggle. Widen that up. So I've driven a hole. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drill a couple holes. I could use my ruler and measure every inch, but I'm not going to do that. 4 holes. I put a piece of cardboard behind my paper. Make sure your pencil point goes through your cardboard. Drive your thumbtack into the paper and simply swing the arm. Isn't that easy? Why didn't you show us this before, Mr. Bushy? Well, because I'm mean. So, in order to make our bisection, you're going to take your straight edge and draw a line across the paper. Any old line. Doesn't have to be squared to the paper edges or anything like that. On that line, you're going to swing some arcs. Going to the center would be bad for this. I'm going to take my thumbtack and I'm going to put it through. It's right on the paper line. And I'm going to swing an arc. And then I'm going to come to the opposite side. This is important. You have to make sure that this dot is on the opposite side of the arc from the thumbtack, because these arcs have to cross. So those 2 arcs cross. And now I have one intersection and another intersection. When I connect, using my straight edge again, I create a 90-degree X. Lovely as that is, it's not a square yet. I'm going to take my compass and go right into that center of that intersection. And this time, I'm going to go to one of my wider compass points, because I want this square to be a little bit bigger. So I go to the wider compass point, and I make a bigger circle. Now, all I have to do is connect those 4 intersections along the circle. So there you have a mathematically accurate square incised in a circle. You can see the 4 equal sides, the 4 90-degree angles. If I take my Sharpie, darken those in, it will look a lot like this. So here's how we're breaking down the grades. This is a 1, it's not a passing grade. With a 1, you can see that you clearly did not use any instrumentation, you just freehanded a square. The sides aren't even, it's not 90 degrees, it's not neatly in the circle. It's not good. Don't get a 1. With a 2, all you've done is bisect the line. It's actually the hardest part of the project, so if you could get a 2, you might as well go on to get at least a 3. Because with a 3, you're going to show me a square, and the square with the lines across it, so you give me 4 triangles. No color added. You don't have to color this one to get a 3. 4, you're going to have to do something a little bit more heavy duty. A square that has a smaller series of circles inside
and I've created a design with that. This is actually just a series of squares inside squares. I've just colored it with a bunch of little hatch marks.
I've made my square. Now I'm going to put some designs in it so that it looks a little bit like this. I'll start in the center, and I'll drive my compass into that center point. Notice I have 1, 2, 3 dots here. I use the outermost to make the edges of the square. I'm going to go to the second one. I'm just putting a circle in there. And I'm going to each one of these points. Now I can either come in here, back to that center point, and use the smallest circle, or I could come in here again with the straight edge and start connecting lines. I color this in creatively, and I've got myself a 4. And there you have it, folks. Taking a strip of cardboard and a thumbtack and a pencil, creating a compass from it, using that compass to create a square, and decorating that square. Remember when you do this to take a picture of both your drawing and your compass. I'd like to see your work, and that's one of the ways you show me your work. I think you'll have a much easier time with this one than the last one. Find creative ways to make new marks, to make new designs, and to add new colors. Impress me. Coming up on the end of the year. If I knew all along how to make an easier compass, but I still made you make that compass the first time, am I not still an awful human being? You decide.